Once again, we're back and we are doing training for Emergency Action Plan. My name is Ritchey and I am the Hazardous Waste Coordinator. I do a lot of the training for the convenience center. So y'all have been here before. We do this annually. So I know the ones in this group have been here before, and this will be your refresher. So make sure that you sign the sign-in sheet and get all this so we can record that on your sheet, okay? Emergency Action Plan, basically what that is what can happen and how do we handle it? Simple as that. What can happen at the convenience centers, how do we handle it, okay? If we look at the action plan, what is your responsibility as a team member, okay? As a team member, you're responsible for reading and understanding the plan. The plan is in all of the offices. It's hanging up. You can take it out of the holder. It's a rainy day. You don't have a lot going on. Go over the plan, you know. It's about 150 pages, but, you know, it's better than War and Peace, I guess. So as you look at it, you need to read and understand the plan. That's part of your job, okay? Follow the procedures of the plan. Question any part of it you don't understand or you don't think makes sense. Certain departments will have it differently than we do here at the convenience centers, only because we deal with different situations. We deal with a lot of citizens. Most departments don't. Probably 90%, 95% of the citizens we deal with coming in here don't work for the county. So they don't know about this plan. So a lot of the plan is for us to explain it to them while they're on the premises if a situation occurs. Ensure that medical information concerning employees and citizens is kept confidential. If we have a situation where somebody gets hurt, that's confidential information that does not go beyond here, especially if it's got to do with them going to their doctor, something of that nature. So make sure that that is all kept confidential, okay? We're responsible to respond to all emergencies and evacuate when necessary. We are responsible to have someone that is first aid CPR certified. And I believe we do. All of our leads, I believe, are CPA certified. Supervisors are CPA certified. Litter crew, do you have anybody over there? So you're CPA certified too. So, and remember, when you are certified for CPR, and there are rules that apply that basically you're saying, I'm doing the best I can. If there's a mistake made, and it does happen, if there's a mistake made, you can't be held responsible. And that's how we encourage people to get CPR and say, I will help, I'll do it. Because you're trying to help someone, and if situations occur, you can't be held responsible. That's under the Good Samaritan rule, which says I did the best I could do, okay? We have to notify our visitors of an existing emergency. We'll talk about that a little bit later, how we do that. But those are your responsibilities, okay? Training, we do training once a year. We conduct drills once a year. We will be doing the training portion today. The drills are always on site. You're probably not going to know what's going to happen. I walk in, I say, here's the situation, how do we act? Oh, and everybody does what they do. So, and y'all have been through those before. Let's start with, first and foremost, our SMART program, the acronym SMART. And we remember what that is. It is our spill response program, right? And the acronym SMART, the S meaning, anybody?
Survey.
Survey. So I'm not picking on you, Sarge. Survey, okay? So when you come to a spill or a situation, you don't jump in. You need to survey, okay? And in surveying, you're looking at what's around. Are there citizens there? What am I dealing with? Where is the flow going? It's important, right? It's important. Where is that flow going? Because where it ends up could be something simple or something huge. If it hits land or water, we got a whole different situation. So where is that flow going, okay? So you have to look at your risk first. And as you survey, you may right away say, too much for me. And if that's the case, it's 911. Bring on the guys that take care of this thing. We don't want anybody overwhelmed or trying to handle something they can't handle, right? And we've had spills, okay? Technically a spill is 25 gallons. We have incidents of small spills all the time, okay? And we'll talk about how we handle those. So the S is survey. Make sure you know what you're doing before you get into it. Makes sense. The M is manage chemical. Now it used to be MSDS, didn't it? And that changed because why? All right, we don't have MSDS anymore. It's now SDS. So rather than change the acronym, we just made it match. So it's manage chemical. Basically know what you're dealing with, okay? If you don't know, stop. We'll put the red light out right there. If you don't know what you're dealing with, then we don't deal with it. It may be a situation where you do as much as possible, but you don't actually take care of the situation. You maybe put some snakes out, some blankets out that would absorb anything that would get close to an area we didn't want to get to. But if you don't know what you're dealing with, stop. 911, let the fire department take care of that. Let the people that get paid to do that, okay? A is for action, okay? We've surveyed, we know what it is. It's a 5-gallon bucket of oil. It's been knocked over. Now we're at the action point. Probably the most important action is how can we stop the flow, right? Because if we stop the flow, then we've actually stopped our problem from getting any worse. Stop the flow. That could be as simple as picking up the bucket, right? You know what it is. It's used oil, okay? You've surveyed. You know you're on a surface where it's not near water. It's not near land. We can stop the flow. Then you know it's not going to get any worse. Then you can go ahead and put all of your snakes out, all of your verticulite, anything you're going to do to absorb that spill, if you can. If you can't, we're back at 911. Do what you can do. Get the guys here that do that. Okay? The R is about responsibility. Basically, who do you call? Okay? It may be 911 immediately. It may be you pull out your radio and you call a supervisor. Hey, I've got a spill over here. Just letting you know I'm taking care of it, or I need a little help. It may be as simple as an email at the end of the day. Hey, I had a small spill today. I took care of it. It's done. It's cleaned up. Just letting you know. Okay? That's your responsibility of who you call. If we have a spill we cannot handle, that's got to be called in within 15 minutes. So it gives you that time to evaluate and say, 911 quickly, fire department gets here and they say, we need help. So within that 15 minutes, if it is something we can't handle, it needs to be called in. And that would be getting toward land or water. If it's on the soil, if it's in the water, it becomes a different problem for us, okay? So of course we want to make sure that doesn't happen. And T, what about the T? Time. Again, it may be instant, 911, or it may be at the end of the day with an email. Time could be very critical. So we just understand those. And SMART can not only, it is a spill response plan, but it also can be used simply around the site. You're walking around and you see an extension cord out. Well, first thing you're going to do is somebody about to trip on it. I'm going to survey, right? Okay? I don't want anybody hurt. Is anybody around? Then I'm going to realize what I'm dealing with. Somebody has taken an extension cord, pulled it across the doorway. What's my A? What's my action going to be? I'm pulling the plug. I'm going to pull the plug. Somebody may say, hey, what'd you do that for? I was using the vacuum. That wasn't smart to do that. So get it? Smart. Yeah. So the action there, you want to pull that plug right away. Then you go over and say, hey, look, man, sorry, but somebody could have tripped over that. Let's maybe look at a different way to handle that, okay? And the responsibility. Hey, if I'm going to do one of these and I'm just going to step over the plug and say, oh, I'm doing something else, somebody behind me is going down, aren't they? We don't want that. We don't want anybody injured. So responsibility there, and also time could be very critical. Take care of it right away. But SMART can be used in a lot of different situations. So any questions on SMART, on spill response plan? If you look in your EAP, all your emergency numbers are in there that have all the numbers you need to call. Fire department. You call the fire department, guess what? They're coming, and they're bringing the cavalry. So same way with 911, they're not going to leave you hanging. If you call 911, never be concerned, maybe I shouldn't have called. Because we would rather have 5 calls where they say, not much we can do, you've got it handled, than 1 call, you should have called us and you didn't, right? So 911, absolutely, if you're overwhelmed, call 911. We want that. Nobody's ever going to say anything about calling 911. And we've done that around here before, haven't we? Yeah, we have. All right, let's look at different scenarios for weather events. They're big around here. Why? Because everything we do is basically outdoors, right? Let's look at a couple of events. Number 1, let's look at tornadoes. If we have a tornado watch, that tells us that there may be something going to happen, that the situation is right for something to possibly turn into a tornado. A watch kind of piques our interest, okay? Because we have weather radios. They should be going off telling you there's a watch or a warning, which we'll talk about in a second. But so when we get that information, that gives us time. The thing about a tornado, you have time. You have time to prepare. So you're able to say, hey, there's a watch in the area. We need to keep an eye on it. We need to call the other facility. We need to call litter out in the field and say, guys, hey, keep your eyes out because there's some weather things going on, okay? So a watch kind of gives you that hey, maybe, it's going to perk your interest a little bit. If we get into a warning, a tornado warning tells you it's been spotted. It's here, it's in the area. Now, mind you, with the radios, they do a wide area. So it may not be where you are, but it's going to tell you, it's in Amelia, which everything comes out of Amelia. All the watches and the warnings come out of Amelia. It's in Amelia, it's heading this way. So then our reaction time's got to be a little quicker, okay? We've got a warning now. We know where it is. We know where they're saying it's going to be. So our next step is we have to get the word out, okay? Communication to our employees is pretty easy. We got handheld radios, so everybody should have one. Pick up your radio, hey, we got a tornado warning, okay? Everybody to the evacuation shelter area. And we know here where our shelter area is, which is at the cashier's booth. The northern shelter area is with the operator's booth, okay? So we know that warning tells us we got to move, we got to roll, okay? How do we handle the citizens? That's been a problem for a long time. And what we've decided or what we've developed is we have put actual speakers in the vehicles. So we get in the vehicle, providing we have time for it, and basically we'll go around the facility and tell the customers, we are closing, we have a tornado warning, it's time to evacuate. Now, you may have a citizen that's, I'm going to finish what I'm doing. We can't stop for that. We don't want to tell them you need to leave, you're going to call the police. There is a tornado warning, sir, you need to evacuate, okay? If it's a situation where it's so close, we will always offer them to come in with us. We do that. I'm sure we could accommodate probably 30 people. It'd be cramped, but we could do it. So when we make that warning, basically what we'll do is we close the entrance side of the gate. We don't want people coming in. However, you got to get people out. So the exit side will be open. Are you going to have a few that have come around the fence? Yeah, you probably are. Do I need to deal with that? Really, I don't. Because our concern at that point, once we've announced it, is for ourselves, okay? And any citizens that are here. We really can't control what's going to go on out there, okay? And really shouldn't control what's going on out there. We're making it safe here. We're going to our evacuation area. Anyone who does not feel comfortable with evacuating is welcome to come in with us. Now, how do we handle in the field on a tornado warning? Obviously, when you guys are out there in the field, it may be a phone call to you saying, don't come here. You know, you may be safer on the west side than over here. So communication from a supervisor or someone administratively to call you and say, hey guys, it's coming through here. I don't know where you're at, but honestly, you probably need to stay clear. Okay? Does that make sense? Sure. And we put it in play before. We've had to be out there, so we kind of know this stuff. But the importance is communication. If you can't use your radio, use your cell phone, communicate during that process, make sure everybody's aware of what's going on. Okay? Talk about a different event. Let's talk about an earthquake. If you've ever been in an earthquake, you never know what's coming, number one. They average about 20 seconds. So that means if it started now, what would you do in 20 seconds? Not much, right? Not much, okay? We know from taking this training, what are we going to do? Anybody?
Drop.
Drop,
go under, get in a doorway.
A doorway is so perfect because you've got a header, which means this entire building may come down, but that header could stay because it goes across the whole top. A doorway is fantastic. Now, doesn't mean we want to fight for doorways either, but under a table with your hands over the back of your neck, your head area, 20 seconds, you're not going to do much. The worst thing to do is to run out of this building. And why would that be? Yeah, it's shaking out there too, guys, you know? Everything that's shaking in here is shaking out there. So just by running out of here, you could face more danger than just by staying here, covering yourself up 20 seconds, and we're done. So earthquakes are a little bit different in the fact that you never know what's coming, and when it does, it's hit the floor that quick, okay? 20 seconds is not a long time. Unless you're up in front of the camera, 20 seconds is a long time. Drop, cover, hold on, okay? Let's talk about shelter in place, which is a little different. It goes along with active shooter, which we're just getting into the active shooter training. Basically, it comes down to fight or flight, which means if you're able to hide, please do. If you're able to get out of the area without being spotted, please do. But if it's in this room, honestly, you're down to one choice. And that is you have to fend off the perpetrator. And we'll get more into that when it comes down because there's a lot more training that needs involved in that, okay? But that also could involve, for example, if somebody wanted to put something through the air conditioning ducts. Yes. So you want to shut down the AC. If we get into a shelter in place, shut down the AC only because there may be something coming through the ducts, okay? What other way might someone in a shelter in place get to you without entering the building? How about your water source? Think about that. Probably the number one, if you've ever been over to utilities and go to the one wastewater treatment plants, man, it's like Fort Knox. Because getting something in the water source is very, very dangerous and could affect a lot of people quickly. So we got to make sure while you're in shelter in place, Shut your water off. Don't use your water. You want to move to a secure area. I would say below window level is a pretty secure area in this room. Okay? Lock the doors. Lock the windows. If possible, after you cut off the AC, seal the vents. If possible, tape and a piece of cardboard. Seal the vents so nothing can come in. Okay? Shelter in place is something we probably never want to go through, but we will be starting to do drills on that, only because it's for your safety that we learn this. Okay? Any questions on shelter in place? I know that's kind of scary stuff, and hopefully we never have to deal with that.